Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Eugene Honrath from Shadow Warriors, and I've got Jason Tietz for Meet the Maker interview. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, good, good. So, give me a little background or synopsis of who you are, what you're involved in, or your company name, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, all right. I'm Jason Tietz from West Michigan, right by Grand Rapids. I make and design the Moby for the Moby Whalers group, and I'm also doing a new line of knives, Firecraft, right here in West Michigan, also made by White River Knife and Tool. It's kind of the next best thing going on.
Awesome, awesome. And don't worry, people, we will talk about both of these tonight. And it's not going to be an hour long because we've got a lot to cover with Jason. Jason's got a lot going on.
For sure. That's how
So
I like it.
yeah, yeah. So tell me about your background, just in terms of you, and and we'll start from there.
Yeah, definitely. My background, I'm an industrial designer by trade, product designer.
Okay.
Um, got a bachelor's degree in that from Kendall in Grand Rapids. So that's kind of what I was interested in was the design world. But to kind of put a twist on it, my background, I was homeschooled for a while, and one of my classes was actually bushcraft survival. So it was like math, science, and trap.
So instead of woodworking, you had bushcraft survival.
Yeah, for sure. It was my dad was pretty big into it, and at the time I'm a or whatever, and I was like, oh, this is not any fun. I don't want to be out in the woods, but it kind of morphed into, all right, let's build some cool forts out in the woods. So instead of just the little ones that most kids made, I was making some pretty sweet ones, and
Yeah.
I mashed the two together. My love for the outdoors and my design background, and that's kind of where I got to with that type of stuff. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Now I will have to say you have grown men are jealous of little Jason taking bushcraft and survival class. You know that, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun. You got to get out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, what do you do now specifically? You work with products, design products, and if you can tell us what kind of products are you do you work with, or did you start with, and now you work with, or has it been the same?
Yeah, no, my 9 to 5, if that's what you want to call it, is actually in the medical industry.
Okay.
So I'm working with a lot of big medical companies for implants and replications. You get a plate or some screws in your leg, that type of thing. Um, in Zeeland, Michigan. It's a small town near Holland, and that's kind of my background. That's what I've been doing since I graduated college. But on the side, that's when the Moby formed and all this other stuff. I found the communities online, and I always had a bunch of stuff in my pockets, and I didn't know there was a bunch of groups for it. So when I found out there was other people that was carrying 12 things in their wallets and 10 things in their pockets, I was like, all right, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, yeah. Count me in. Count me in. All right, so that's a good segue to talk about Moby Whalers, and tell me how that got started, and then we'll kind of transition through where we're at today.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of got started twofold. The first thing was when I was first getting into the EDC community, and I thought I had the end all be all when I got this $100 bench made. I had no idea that it went up from there.
Yeah.
So there were certain things, that college loans, all these fun things, two new kids. I got a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old. It's like I don't have a bunch of extra money to be spending on this gear. So it's like, what can I make of my own that I might not be able to buy? And with my background in product design, I was like, I'm sure I can figure something out. I work with all these people that do this type of stuff anyway, and so I started drawing some stuff, and the Moby was kind of born. Um, Basically, I drew a shape that I thought would be the most ergonomic, starting with the opener and then like the belly of the nose and how it pushes on the cap. And I kind of had like an arm coming down that you know get some leverage from, and um, I kind of brought it home and was looking at it for a while. I drew like 4 or 5 different versions of it, and then all of a sudden I was like, that kind of looks like a whale. I could make it into a whale, and so the Moby was born. And it's basically a way for me to hone my craft, because the end goal is to make custom knives, obviously, and that's this was a way that I could start working with metals. Um, some people grind on cheaper knives or hack on their own, and this was kind of my plan, and it just kind of grew from there. And it's been awesome. We formed a community instead of a group, and there's a lot of really cool people there.
No, yeah, you definitely have been able to do that. What I do want to talk about in a couple minutes is kind of where you started out basic and how it's kind of grown to some pretty crazy stuff with some of the carvings and some of that stuff. But first, is it just you working with the Moby Whalers, or do you have a partner or any employees?
Yeah, so it's just me. I say that kind of tongue in cheek because the Moby is myself, and I finish all the Mobies. And you know, I have some vendors. You know, I used to get them laser cut. Now I get some water jet, and that's kind of where I start. But essentially, it's just me. With that said, I also have Steve Hall, who's making the honey badgers. He's my next door neighbor. He's working out of my garage. And my brother, Corey Tietz with Auto Tactical Tools. He's making some pretty dope beard combs. And he's working out of my garage too. So it's kind of a group, but at the same time, we're all kind of doing our own thing, which is kind of cool.
Nice. Well, that's interesting. I don't think I knew either one of those things. So you a lot of what I've seen is, have they come, the different Moby Whalers, have they come from you in terms of how customized they are, or is it kind of just, here are the base ones and the different metals and they've kind of taken off, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both, only because I started out just having fun with it. I was like, all right, what metal can I get a hold of next? You know, it's like, get some Damascus or get some Zerk, whatever it might be. And then I had some people like, oh, you know, this plain brass one, could you do something to it? And I started doing a lot of custom work. Now I think it's starting to fall into place a little bit more, in terms of I've kind of have, you know, 4, maybe 5 different kind of standard versions, if that's what you want to call them, or finishes. But I'm still having fun doing custom ones, and doing a little less customization for people, but just doing custom ones right out of the gate. To me, it's a little bit more fun. I get a little more creative with it because I get to do my own thing. And if something pops into my head, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna laser etch this, you know, whatever pattern on here. But every once in a while, I get kind of the hey bro message and with a good idea. So
that's I always like to ask that question, is because when we start talking about custom, my idea of custom and your idea of custom and Jim's idea of custom are completely different. And then you sort of have that guy out in left field who's like, well, I know you make Moby Whalers, but could you make it look like this? And it's your
right.
And sometimes you're taken back. Have you had any really crazy requests in terms of the Moby Whaler?
Crazy. I've had a couple that I've had to turn down. And
can we hear at least one of them without naming any names?
No, I do it a little bit reluctantly because I like to make people happy. You know, it's not like I'm just, you know, like, oh no, I can't do that because, you know, I'm some jerk and I just don't want to do that for you or something. Like, that's not what I do. But every once in a while I get an idea and it's like, hey, could you laser etch a Superman logo and a cape on it or something? I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. So what you're saying is that any crazy custom requests that you've gotten have been completely just way out there and just wouldn't work with the product at all. But other than that, you've basically done everything else.
Yeah, pretty much. I've gotten some really good ideas. I get a lot of people that might message me going, hey, I got this really good idea. It's like, yeah, I heard that from 5 other people too, so it's got to be a good idea. So I'll do a couple or something. And some ideas are really awesome. It's like, wow, I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner. And some ideas are, like, just like, no, I want to maintain a brand identity. I don't just want to, I don't know. It's kind of weird sometimes, but
Yeah, it's I would say it's definitely a balancing act in terms of that. So tell me a little bit about pricing, and I know that kind of can be all over the board. Is there any kind of standard pricing, and if there is, where are we starting, where are we going, and what's in between?
yeah, I try to group them right at about the 150, 160 mark. And it's really time and materials. There's a little bit more involved with that. Like you said, it's kind of a weird thing. Some of them don't take, if I'm doing a standard tie that's just got a polish on it, I don't have 5 hours into, anodizing it and buffing it and all these other things, or laser etching it, which is a lot of time, running around and stuff like that. Or just, like, Mokum, big old chunk of it. This stuff, you can see, it's pretty thick. It's not cheap. People know that.
Yeah.
So a lot of that comes into play. And like this one, for instance, there's two, so I can't sell two Mokums for $100. I wouldn't even be able to pay for the materials. So, but I don't want to go crazy with it either. The last thing I want to do is kind of do what was done to me when I first got into it and make them unobtainable,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. What is the top range or the most expensive one that you've sold? And I don't necessarily include auctions or raffles or anything like that. It's just, this was really unique and really crazy, and I put a lot of time and effort into this. What's that top range?
Yeah. I'm trying to think off of my website. I think the Zerk I had like a matching bead that went for like $225. I might have sold the Moku tie on there that went for a little bit more than that. I have had some in auctions or, raffles or something like that went for quite a bit more. We've done a couple of good cause raffles that went for quite a bit more, but obviously, like you said, that's a little bit different scenario because people want to help out. But yeah.
No, absolutely. So, all right. So, in terms of the Moby Whalers, to kind of recap that, where can someone go buy a Moby Whaler? Not everyone can be as lucky as I was the other night. I kind of thought it was pretty fitting a day or two before we do this.
Yeah.
I just was like, okay, I'll go in. Fuck cancer. Let me see if I win this, and then I got all these like notifications. You're tagged. I was like, what? I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, that can't be true. So I appreciate the guys that put that on.
Yeah, that was pretty cool of them. We try to do a lot of giveaways just because we appreciate people helping out. And I think I give away almost one from each batch. At least I try to. I was doing a lot of beads, a lot of patches, a lot of stickers. That type of stuff's a lot more fun, and it keeps people involved in the group and active. So it's helping out.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have Facebook? What social media do you have in terms of the Moby Whaler?
Yeah, so we have Moby_Whalers on Instagram. Obviously the Moby Whalers group on Facebook. And was it Moby Whalers _bigcartel.com, I think. It's kind of an odd one, but the link's on the Facebook group.
Okay.
For that. So,
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And we'll include all of those links in the description below. So both for Moby Whalers and what we're about to talk about. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about or mention in terms of Moby Whalers? Anything coming up? Anything exciting? Or did you want to just move on?
Yeah. Well, I just opened up Shapeways yesterday for the first time. So that's pretty cool and new.
And what is Shapeways for people who don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. Shapeways is basically an online company that grows parts through like laser sintering and prototyping processes. And it's kind of a secondary sales, so I can upload my part to it. They produce it and ship it. You order through them. So yeah, it's something new and different. Just trying to mix it up, too many runs of stainless gets boring. So
Nice.
that's what that. And
Okay.
I think for those that would like to know, I think I have 6 different materials working right now for Mobies. So it's going to kind of be floodgates here come 2 or 3 weeks of all different kinds of stuff. So that'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to it. All right. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Jason in reference to Moby Whalers, and we can talk about that. So let's move on to project number 2, or brand number 2, Firecraft.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, kind of a synopsis. I know that's brand new. Maybe it's been in the workings for a little while, but it's kind of brand new as of Blade.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been in the workings for quite a long time. We were lucky enough to get 20 of them on the table at Blade for the unveiling of Firecraft. A lot of different renditions, a lot of different variations. Me hacking away at stuff in the garage, trying to get prototypes done. Because, like I said earlier, I'm a product designer, so I can make pretty pictures all day, but it's different when you get something in your hand. And once I got the product into their hands, White River Knife and Tool out of West Michigan here is producing them for me at the moment. And once we got one into their hands, and they were like, we gotta do something with this. So that's kind of where it all started. And it's got some good reception so far. I'm excited to get the line going. And it's not just going to be the 3 knives that are available now. It's going to grow. We're going to have all sorts of stuff, so it should be pretty cool.
Awesome. So let's talk about what you guys have now. What products does Firecraft produce right now?
Yeah, so what we had new basically for the unveiling at Blade, and what we're going to be producing, or is in the works right now for the first real production run, is the FC4, FC5, and FC7, and that's just a 4-inch, a 5-inch, and a 7-inch. The 4-inch is 1/8-inch S30V, and the other 2 are both .190 S30V as well. So.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. And tell me some of the. Do you have a blade to show us tonight?
Yeah, I do. Let me grab it real quick.
Awesome.
Sorry about that.
No, perfect.
So they do all their own Kydex work in-house. They do an awesome job. It's not cheap stuff. It's good stuff. This is kind of the tester that I've been beating on for a while, and it still takes hair right off your arm. So I don't know if you can see it there. This is kind of tricky.
Oh, yeah. So tell me some of the unique product features in reference to the Firecraft knives.
Yeah, this is like I said, the FC7, 7-inch S30V. This, one of the big details is the handle. I mean, you get a hold of this thing, I don't know if you can see it super well. Just the design of the handle it's really ergonomic. It fits right into your hand, and it looks simple, but there's a lot of thought that went into it, and that's kind of where my background kind of comes into play. It's not just, hey, let's put a cool looking handle on this. It's all right, your hand, when you close it, it doesn't make a circle, it actually makes a triangle. So if you have a round handle, it's going to want to roll or kick out on you. So let's put those 3 points and lock them in so that that knife can't go anywhere. Just a bunch of different ergonomic studies like that. And one thing that's new that we're bringing to the table, you can kind of see it right here, is a hardened stainless bow drill divot. So those of you that are, bushcraft fanatics or are really into learning that type of wilderness survival, it allows you to not burn out your micarta because the friction creates heat, obviously, and that's bad. You want low friction for a bow drill, and that thing's never going to wear out.
Now, the handles that are going to come on the knives, or that are standard, or that are on the knives, period, are we talking epoxied, or how are they affixed to the blade?
Yeah, so these are epoxied. They're micarta. Micarta is made in West Michigan as well. green micarta with orange G10 liners, and that's going to be the standard. They are epoxied and pinned. I don't know if you can see here. They're stainless steel pins,
Okay.
and there's two either side of the bow drill drivet, and then there's a big lanyard one here on the back side. So they're on there. I've been beating on this one with just about everything I can find, hacking through trees with it. It's definitely doing work.
Nice.
So yeah.
And so tell me about the blade shape and what kind of grind is on those knives.
We opted not to do a Scandi grind, which is fairly typical for bushcraft. I don't know if you can see it there. It's kind of a high grind right there. And then it has, I don't even know what you call this, just a very steep drop tip, almost reverse canto sort of.
Okay.
And that's just to keep as much strength down in the tip as possible. But also if this thing walks on you, like if you're batoning through wood and it kind of does one of these, which it always does, you still have a flat spot to hit and bring that tip back down.
Okay, so all of the features in this knife were thought out, not just aesthetically or because you wanted them like that. There's a rhyme and reason behind each feature in the knife.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the end goal for me of this knife was to have something that looks clean and not cluttered with, like, you know, the typical Rambo knife. Like it's got to do 100 things really crappy. I wanted it to do, you know, 5 or 6 things really, really well. So that was the thought behind this knife. Like everything has purpose. Everything has function, you know, form follows function type of thing. And when everything works, it looks good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I 100% believe in that, and I like the methodical thought process put into that. So why did you pick SV versus some other kind of steel? Was there a reason behind that? And I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few different reasons. One, we're up in Michigan, you know, so corrosion is a big issue. You know, we got a lot of salt on our crappy roads around here. Also moisture in general, and S30V, you know, it's basically like a super steel. Like this stuff's amazing when it comes to corrosion resistance and also edge retention. You know, it might take a little bit longer to sharpen. You know, obviously if you have a 1095, something with a high carbon content like that, it's going to sharpen up a lot easier, but it's going to lose that edge a lot quicker too. So we wanted that edge retention, and also it's a material that White River Knife and Tool is really familiar with. Most of their knives are done in S30 or S35VN. So that was kind of an obvious choice for us anyway.
Right. Perfect. Well, no, I mean, I like the thought behind it. So why did you guys choose Kydex versus leather, or both of them are going to be available, or what's available in the sheath department currently?
Kydex is the way we went with all these for the FC series. It's something that they do in house. Once again, it's something that they do really well. They do it on all their backpackers and pretty much all their. I think some of their customs come with leather sheaths. We are looking at getting some leather sheaths for these, as far as kind of the higher end custom versions. And we've already been, you know, kind of meeting with some people at Blade Show, and we got some things in mind.
Nice. Oh no, that's great to hear. What other? So we've got the 3 blades, correct? The 4, the 5, and the 7.
Yep.
Are there anything else that you can kind of clue us in or discuss that may be coming down the pike for Firecraft?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to promise too much because we
won't hold you to it.
Right. We're still in conceptual stages for a lot of stuff and kind of tweaking and playing around, but we definitely got some tools, EDC tools, if that's what you want to call them, or lightweight, you know, backpacking tools, and a few more knives, a smaller bushcraft style knife, or even an EDC fixed blade. That's kind of where that one's going to be geared. And then possibly an even larger chopper that we're kind of also playing around with. But once again, we'll see what makes it to the production table. I got a lot of designs in the queue, so
I can only imagine what's going on in that brain of yours. So
yeah.
So tell me, we have the standard models in terms of the three knives that you have now. Are we talking custom, or maybe how's that? Is custom gonna happen?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, what this brand is going to be is the Firecraft brand, which is produced and distributed by White River Knife and Tool, and then there's going to be the Firecraft Customs line. So basically, what that will be is the same exact blade, same heat treat, all that stuff, but it'll have my custom version. So we'll have some burled wood with copper pins, Damascus bolsters, just all sorts of fun custom stuff. So that's the idea behind that. So they'll kind of run in parallel, essentially.
And you heard Jason earlier with Moby Whalers. If it's custom and it's awesome, he'll do it. But if it's in the field, he's not going to do it for you.
Sure.
Nice.
No. Yeah.
Well, no, that's great to hear, and to see where you guys are going from. Where you're going now. You're working in conjunction with them. Now, say their name again.
White River Knife and Tool.
White River Knife and Tool. So you're working in conjunction then with the knife. Are there any other projects other than these two going on? I know we have two pretty big things that you're working on, but any other ideas coming down the pike?
Ideas? Yeah, I always got ideas. But right now I'm pushing a lot of my time into those two things, and I really want to grow those two things and see where they go before I get in over my head in a third thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So where can I go buy, or where can someone go buy the Firecraft knives?
Yeah, so right now we got about a little less than 2 months out for production. If you're interested, definitely hit up White River Knife and Tool. I'm sure they'll put you on a list of some sort. Got to talk to them about that too, see if we're doing pre-orders. I'm sure we are. But yeah, we're about 2 months out with that, and they will be up on the White River Knife and Tool website soon. And then if you want to get more information, you can join the Firecraft Facebook group as well. We have a business page and a group, and just type in Firecraft.
Perfect. No, that's great to hear. So, we went over a lot of stuff today, from Moby Whalers to Firecraft and everything that's happening with both of those. Is there anything that you kind of wanted to wrap up, or even show us that you had there that you wanted to show us? And then we'll move on to a kind of quick synopsis and a conclusion.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it for the most part. I can show a new one that I just did. We got a new anodizing setup like just 2 days ago. So I've been kind of playing around with that. And I literally just finished this one like an hour before you called. So you can see it's like the Pink Floyd thing going on. I don't know how well you can see.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Rainbow triangle. So I've just been playing around with that. So the next run is going to be kind of a sculpted titanium and anodized, and each one's going to be a little different because I'm having fun with it. So that we look forward to that. Put it that way.
Nice. Okay, so give me a little conclusion about where we can find Moby Whalers, and then where we can find Firecraft again. And like I said before, we'll have all the links down in the description.
Yeah, for sure. You can find Moby Whalers on Facebook at Moby_Whalers in the Moby Whalers group. Online also at mobywhalers.bigcartel.com, and on Instagram at Moby_Whalers.
Perfect.
Yeah, Firecraft. They'll be up on the White River Knife and Tool website soon, but also you can check us out.
And is that whiteriverknife.com, or?
I should have looked that up.
All right, so just use Google, people. We'll have the links in the description.
I think it is whiteriverknife.com, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And then also the Facebook group, Firecraft.
Okay. Perfect. Hey, man, well, thank you so much for meeting with us today and taking 30 minutes of your time to show us what you got going on.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a great day.
You too.